SZA just released her newest album, SOS, and I feel like a lot of people have been waiting on this one a long time. I mean, I think it's been 5 years since SZA last released an album. I think this one is pretty solid as well. There's a ton of different genres and styles that SZA kind of takes inspiration from and uses on this album. I think it's really interesting just to see she's kind of rapping on some parts. She's kind of putting in that old R&B style from SZA. There's some pop punk sounds, and there's even some guitar type stuff like that, or it's more indie folk, I guess. No, I mean, not super in that realm, but more the Hannah Montana pop indie, just guitar in the background type stuff. But I still think this is pretty solid from SZA. Even though it is 23 songs and there could be a few cuts in my opinion, there are a lot of good songs, and I think there are some amazing songs on this album. I just think overall it's a really good album, and SZA puts in some amazing work on this album, and I just think overall, like I said, it's a great album, and it kind of just does follow the same kind of themes that she's been running with on Control and all that, but I still think it's a really good album, and let's just go with track-by-track review. SOS, I really like the production on this song with the soul sample, and SZA's vocals sound pretty cool in the background, and SZA's flow sounds more rap-like, and it sounds interesting and works on this song. It just sounds a little bit too much like an interlude and not worthy of the 1 minute and 50 seconds that the song is. Then we go to Kill Bill. I really like this one, and I feel like there's a pretty solid transition from SOS to this song, and the production sounds really airy. I like the combination of the production, which really works well with SZA's kind of angelic vocals, and the sound of the song really goes against the lyrics of the song, which are super violent and about killing someone's boyfriend. Then the next one is Seek and Destroy. The production sounds really interesting again and complements SZA's vocals. I don't really like the bridge, as I feel like it doesn't really fit with the rest of the song. The song lacks some of the substance of the other songs, and it's kind of repetitive, but I still think it sounds good. Then we go to Low. The song is more of a trap beat similar to Isaiah Rashad or Smino sounding, and I feel like SZA's flow over it sounds really good, and with the Travis Scott ad-libs, they're kind of just thrown in there, but they are kind of interesting on the song. Overall, the song isn't that amazing, but it does kind of work with SZA. It's not a super amazing song on this album, but because it is just a little repetitive with the choruses, but it is pretty solid in general. Then we go to Love Language. I like the slower production that she uses on this song. It really suits her vocals, and the song just sounds pretty good in my opinion. It's not really anything super amazing, but it's pretty solid. Then we go to Blind. The song is a lot more acoustic guitar sounding, which allows SZA's vocals to shine. I don't really like the post-chorus, but it does sound a lot better than the TikTok part. The chorus is just super angelic and just sounds amazing. It might be one of my favorite choruses ever by SZA, and just sounds really good. And I feel like the flow and delivery on SZA's second verse also sounds really good. And overall, the song is just really good, even though it is super TikTok-y. Then we go to Use. SZA sounds really good on her voice. Don Toliver kind of lays off the auto-tune on his chorus, which works, but the song is a little bit too short, and I really like how SZA used her layering her voice to make her part sound a little bit more angelic, I guess, like I said before, but it is just a little too short, and with 2 Don Toliver choruses and just 1 SZA verse, it just is a little, I don't know, kind of a weird song where I feel like SZA should have been on the chorus and Don Toliver should have been on the verse. I don't really know, but it kind of worked. Snooze, I like the slow production, which fits SZA's vocals, which sound beautiful on this song. And I don't really like how the auto-tune robotic vocals on the bridge don't really work with the rest of the song as a whole. Then we go to Notice Me. I think the production is a little bit more upbeat with the 808s hitting really important parts in the song. SZA flows really good from her voice back to the choruses in each song. And I feel like that really works a lot on this album, where she flows from the pre-chorus to the verses and back to the chorus, and they all just kind of flow together and they work really well. Then we go to Gone Girl. The beat is a lot more airy, which suits the vocals that SZA might use normally that make it sound angelic or like you're suspended over a canyon, because there are parts that kind of reverb or repeat back to you. And then I really like SZA's voice on the pre-chorus as it builds the song up to a whole new level. I feel like the song is a little bit longer, but it doesn't really feel that long and really works for its runtime. Then we go to Smoking on My X-Pac. I really like the sample on this song and the flow that SZA uses on the song, and just how aggressive she sounds for the 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I feel like this is just a perfect song if you're, smoking on your X-Pac or whatever. Then we go to Ghost in the Machine. I really like the production on this one. It's a little bit more stripped down and guitar sounding, and SZA's flow from the verse to the pre-chorus and chorus just all works super well. And then I really like the AI lyrics, because they're kind of funny, and they're kind of work now because of the LGBT thing that's like blowing up on TikTok and Twitter and all that. And just, I don't know, it's just funny how that works. And she released this song when that's popping. And then Phoebe Bridgers' inclusion on the song really works well. And I feel like her airy vocals sound really good and perfectly segue into SZA's next pre-chorus, where they just add so much more instrumentation and the song just sounds really amazing. Like, that might be my favorite, like, 45 seconds of the album from Phoebe Bridgers' verse, like right after Phoebe Bridgers' verse into the rest of the song, where it just sounds really amazing. Then we got F2F. The production is a lot more guitar-like, which sounds interesting. I like the chorus, which has a true like pop punk vibe and works on this song. And I feel like SZA's vocals kind of work on this pop punk sound, and I don't know, it just works. It's pretty good in general. Then we go to Nobody Gets Me. The song has another guitar type sounding Hannah Montana-ish vibe, where it's like more, generic pop like, but it is like that guitar type thing. And then I feel like it works a lot better with like SZA's vocals versus like Hannah Montana vocals. I feel like the verses are a little generic, but I do like the chorus, and it's kind of like vintage sound. Then we go to Conceited. The production's a lot more upbeat. I feel like it doesn't work as well as some of the other songs in the album. It just doesn't sound as SZA. And then the next song, Special, is kind of the same way. It doesn't really rely on SZA's vocals and just kind of sounds generic. You know, I feel like these two songs are songs that could be cut from the album, make it a little bit shorter and make it, a little bit more fresh. Then we go to Too Late. I like the production. It's a little bit too fast sounding for SZA's voice. Like it moves too quick for her voice, but it does work, and I feel like the song's a little repetitive, but I like the chorus a lot, and just in general, the production fits SZA's vocals. Then we go to Far. I like the production on this song, again, with a lot slower paced beat, letting SZA's vocals kind of like ride. And then I also like how the pre-chorus and chorus work together, vocals and lyrics-wise, and they just kind of flow into each other, just work in general. Then we go to Shirt. Shirt's a pretty good song that, kind of fits as a single for the album, as it went viral on TikTok, and it has that normal SZA kind of sounding beat and vocals. Then we go to Open Arms. I like how SZA's vocals on the chorus work well, and they kind of work perfectly on this guitar beat. But then when Travis Scott comes in, it doesn't not work, but I feel like SZA's part is a lot better than Travis's verse on this song, which, shouldn't really work, I guess. Like, it just seems like his stuff doesn't really work with this guitar sounding beat. But it is a really interesting turn from Travis Scott, and it doesn't really sound like anything else he's put out. So maybe he puts one of these songs on his next album. I mean, I don't know. Then we go to I Hate You and Good Days. I feel like these work on the album, but it seems weird to add just kind of all three singles just at the end of the album, where people are probably going to skip over them when they're actually listening to the album in general. But, they still are two good songs, and I feel like even though all like three of her singles have just been bombarded by TikTok, they're still not bad songs, and I still feel like they work. Of course, she's trying to put them in to get her streams up. That's why she's putting them at the end of the album, but, they're fine in general. Then we go to Forgiveless. I really like the hard-hitting beat and SZA's flow over the beat. It feels like something that she could turn into like a little EP or album, because just like the aggressive flow and just everything she puts into that song sounds really good. The ODB sample is pretty cool as well, and I feel like it kind of works, but I don't know. It just like is a little weird putting like featuring ODB when it's just a sample. But I mean, maybe his label or his family wanted him to get a feature on a SZA album, even though he's been dead for SZA's whole career. Either way, though, I feel like this whole album in general is a pretty solid album, and I feel like it's a really good album coming out from SZA. I feel like it does deliver to what she wanted to put out. There's a ton of really good songs on this, but it just is a little long for me, and I wish she could have cut some or just like, I don't know, sequenced it a little bit better. But overall, I feel like SZA really made a great album here, and I think that SOS is, what a lot of fans are going to be wanting. So either way, it's a good album, a really good album in my opinion. I'm going to have to give it a 7 out of 10. Definitely looking forward to what SZA puts out next, because it seems like she's going to take a step back from music, at least from what I've seen on like Twitter and everything, where she doesn't really like how her fans have been pressuring her to put out music, which I don't really get, because it seems like she makes a lot of music, and a lot of music that people actually like.